Well, hello everyone. I'm Holly Fowler-Martins, a proud board member and supporter of the Matriots. This evening, we'll be talking with Reem Subei, who's a candidate for Senate District 2, which is located in Northwest Ohio, representing about 360,000 people. Reem is a Matriots endorsed candidate, class of 2020, and is running for the primary this spring. By the way, everyone, please make sure that your vote by mail ballot is postmarked by April 27th. The Matriots PAC has one mission: to elect more women to public office in Ohio who will promote an economy in which women can thrive and prosper. We will achieve our mission by endorsing and supporting women candidates with money for their campaigns, with networking, and with encouragement. Welcome, Reem. Please take a few minutes to tell us about yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me. So I'm Reem Subei, and I'm running for Ohio Senate District 2. That covers Wood County, Ottawa County, Erie County, Lucas, and Fulton in parts. I am a civil rights attorney. I work for a legal aid office, and I spend most of my day talking to community groups and leaders about issues that are important to them and looking for ways to advance causes of social justice to give power back to the people. And that's what got me to run for office.
Wonderful. Thank you. So a few housekeeping items, everyone. We encourage audience participation. However, we are going to be muting all microphones and ask that you use the chat feature on Instagram and on the Facebook Live using the comment box. So we were planning on keeping this interview to the 30 minutes. So thanks again for joining us. So I think this is the first thing on everyone's mind, coronavirus. How is your community and your family dealing with COVID-19? And what advice do you have for our listeners?
So COVID-19 has really taken a toll on all of us as a community, as Ohioans, as citizens of the world, as Americans. All people are struggling. And I really want to give a shout out to the healthcare workers and to the frontline workers who are serving all of us. Thank you for the service that you do. It's not easy. My brother is a physician. My best friends are, a lot of them, physicians, and they are going to work every day, risking their lives to protect all of us. So I've been staying home. My employer has been very conscientious about ensuring that employees are staying home to protect our health and safety so that we can continue to do the work that we do without exposing ourselves. I have been wearing masks when I go out in public. I would strongly recommend that everyone engage in social distancing and wearing masks. You can make your own masks. I have a couple masks from when I went to the urgent care a couple months ago because I had the flu. So I happened to come across those in one of my drawers and I just started wearing them. And I've been wearing the same mask for a week. It's not ideal, but there is a shortage of masks. So I don't want to be purchasing masks and taking them away from frontline responders. My brother's university is closed. He goes to OSU, or the OSU. So he is now staying with me, and that's giving us a lot of time to bond. So I don't have any kids. I have a roommate. A lot of people have kids who are now spending their day with them. And some of my friends are having to really organize how they work and take care of their children, which is not an easy task. I wouldn't know what advice to give there. But if you need someone to maybe play some virtual games with your kids, I'd be down to do that. I know that PBS is providing guidance and some educational support on TV for children. A lot of schools have been trying to step up, but some schools have not been able to provide Chromebooks and other computers. Some families don't have internet. I would encourage those families to call Buckeye and call a lot of the internet providers that are stepping up to provide internet for families in need.
Nice. Wonderful. I did notice on your Instagram account, on March 19th, you posted your COVID-19 plan, which I really appreciate the items that you called out, and they all certainly resonated with me, and certainly what you just described. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. One of the things that we've really been pushing is an eviction moratorium. People are not able to go to work. A lot of my friends are getting laid off. A lot of people are having to take reduced hours and thus reduced pay. So they're not able to make rent and checks have not hit yet. So we are really trying to get the state and the legislators or the Supreme Court justice to pass a moratorium on evictions. We have not seen that happen yet. The governor did issue a request to commercial landlords, but not to residential landlords, which is unfortunate. So I hope and wish that landlords would be understanding during this time. But I think that tenants should not live under the mercy of their landlords. Tenants should have the ability to continue to be safely housed in compliance with Dr. Amy Acton's order without fearing for their residents and their safety. So if you've had a chance, sign our petition. If you've seen it, if you haven't, just go to our Facebook or Instagram page and you can find our petition for the eviction moratorium that we've sent to legislators and the governor.
Nice. Thank you. We will do that. Going on to the next question. So what is this moment in history with the virus and elections coming up? What are you thinking about as it relates to leadership, and what changes or kind of reset, silver lining, do you think will happen due to this COVID-19?
Yeah, I mean, this is a difficult time, but we have to come together, as many people are doing, and learn from this issue, learn from the struggle that we're facing, and come up with the proper plan to carry us forward into the future from COVID-19 and after COVID-19. COVID-19 has exposed a lot of the inequities and the issues that exist within our system, from healthcare to housing to employment, and the struggles that people of color and people who have gig jobs, people who don't have proper health insurance, people whose health insurance is dependent on their employer, all of those are inequities that are deeply rooted in our system that we are now looking at in the face, right? I mean, in the past, you could ignore them sometimes, but now these are issues that are coming to the top and front and center. Issues such as people who are incarcerated, right? I mean, someone who commits a non-violent misdemeanor may be sentenced to some time, but to be sentenced right now during this time to being in a confined jail could mean that you're being sentenced to death by COVID-19, because COVID-19 can very easily spread in such confined spaces.
Right.
And what I hope that we will all learn is that people should have the right to healthcare. Healthcare is not a commodity. We should not commodify healthcare. And that's an important place also to remember that women's healthcare, women's right to healthcare, women's right to control over their bodies, is something that women should have the autonomy and the freedom to accomplish, not as a commodity, not as something that is available only to some women of some social class in some states, but should be available to all women. And yeah, I mean, I hope that we will all see those inequities and really move forward as a united community. We see that one person suffering from COVID without the ability to obtain treatment is then a risk factor, not only for themselves, but for their entire community. Mm-hmm. And the overwhelming pressure that this places on hospitals and nurses and doctors affects all of us. And so the healthier that we all are, the healthier that our entire community and our future can be.
Nice. Agreed. And I'm looking at the chat feature, and my Instagram account is still not populating. So Reem, if you see a question pop up that I don't from an audience member, if you'd like to read it and answer it, that would be great.
I don't think my Instagram is planning on working.
Okay, so it's not just me. Okay. Okay, well, so if you
I'm gonna try one more time. Let's see.
Okay.
It says I am live now. Okay, do you see me?
I don't see any video, but I see that you are live, so.
So if you click on it, maybe it'll let you join me.
Yeah. Oh, I just see you now. Yay. Okay.
Great.
Okay. So
You
do
have to
you,
ask to join.
okay. And you don't see anybody else that has a question popped up, correct?
Not yet. So are you able to figure out how to ask to join me?
Um, Send request. Send. Okay.
Oh, there you are.
Yay. All right. Thank you. I guess it took some time buffering or whatever. But so do you, what is this being your first race, what is the biggest challenge you face um, so far or during this?
Biggest challenge that I faced. I want to start out with the positive. I've been really fortunate and I've had wonderful support from many leaders and community members, community groups, including the Matriots. I like to always show off my little Matriots palette with all of the endorsed candidates.
Nice.
So I'm really proud of that. Um, you know, what I'm in terms of struggles, I would say perhaps just really getting my name out there, right? A lot of elections are difficult because when there is a large race, there's a large number of voters in the district, and my district has 360,000 people. It's important for us to be able to get out there. And one of our favorite things, one of my very favorite things about running for office is the ability to connect with neighbors and community members and groups. And COVID-19 has gotten in the way of that, which is sad, but we are really proud of Ohioans for staying home, and we're grateful for Amy Acton's leadership on this. We miss interacting with people, knocking their doors, and breaking bread with them. But it's great that everyone is really staying home. It just makes it harder. So now we're spending more time on digital. We're spending more time making calls, and we've had great success. We wish that we could be with you. So just one way that people can help us is really sharing our page, sharing our videos, sharing our links, our Twitter, our Instagram, and following us. I think you need to ask to join me again for some reason.
Oh. Okay. Well, how about I'll do that when I have one question to post. I have a couple questions from the live program. Can you, let's see, what do you expect from your citizenry, and what are some things that we can do to get involved?
Yeah, so I really expect a lot of social media. You can't canvass for us door to door right now, but you can canvass for us on Facebook by messaging all your friends. You can canvass for us on Instagram by messaging your friends. There's so many ways that you can really be involved. We want to hear from people. We have put out a survey asking people about their experiences and their struggles during COVID-19. So I would ask that everyone complete that and just let us know how you're dealing with the situation so that we can better respond to it. One of the main reasons that I'm running for office, one of the core values that my team and I carry with us throughout this campaign and before this campaign is bringing the people's voice to the Senate and bringing the people's voice to the table. So everything that we do continues to be guided by what we hear from voters, what we hear from neighbors, what we hear from the lovely lady who works at the coffee shop and the young man who's going to college and the mother who's taking care of her kids during COVID-19. So we want to hear from you. We've been hearing and we would love to hear more. We want to make sure that every single thing that we're doing is 100% in line with what people need every day.
Wonderful. The next question from the audience is, research was released this week that shows COVID is hitting women and women's jobs harder. No surprise. The Matrix is trying to elect women who will focus on the economic stability and sustainability of women. Can you foresee policy to deal directly with women's needs during and after the crisis?
Yeah, so this is something that we alluded to a little earlier, which is that COVID-19 has really exposed the inequities in our system. Women, a lot of times, have in history and in the present, are taking jobs that are temporary, are taking jobs that are short hours, are taking jobs that are part-time, taking jobs that they have been told and that we've been told a lot of times that we need to take to balance, right, between family and work. But women are leaders in their groups. Women are leaders at their workplaces. And when placed in seats of leadership, show great leadership and the ability to bring innovative ideas and solutions to any problem. So it's important that we enact legislation and that we enact protections, such as prohibiting employers from asking an applicant how much she used to make at a previous job. This is very important because women often don't negotiate the types of high paid jobs that men often expect to get paid, right? But women are bringing, if not same, more skills and leadership to their jobs. So this is something that I would be committed to working on, to ensuring that women are not being asked how much they made and then getting paid less. Having more money means that you have more money to deal with a crisis. Right now, when people are losing their jobs, if they don't have money saved up because they had accepted a lower paying job, that places them at a higher risk. And as you said, the crisis also causes people who are in temporary jobs to be the first to be let go. It causes women who maybe chose to take time off to care for their children and now come back to be at the first in, first out risk. But if we had better protections for women to be able to carefully and comfortably care for their newborn babies and go back to work without leaving their jobs, they would not be facing the same risks. And this is something that other countries have done and that some progressive employers in the United States do. So there's no reason as to why we can't do that at the state level.
Right. So here is a question from Ellen Greenbush. We're a cross-partisan group working to get secret and unlimited money out of elections and policymaking. Our goal is an amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Reem has signed our candidate pledge to work towards this goal in the State House when she is elected. There are many examples of dark money being used in Ohio to influence elections and issues. Reem, please comment on why you think this is an important issue, especially as it relates to equality and justice among Ohioans.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. And thanks for reminding the viewers that I did sign that pledge. And it's definitely one of my main goals is to get money out of politics because people's votes should not be bought. And the way that people's votes are being bought right now is through hard money that's being funneled to politicians by parties and then allowing them to buy all of that airtime, right? Because they buy all of that airtime, that then takes away from the ability of candidates who are invested in a grassroots movement, such as myself, from being able to buy that airtime. Candidates' votes and candidates' loyalty should not be subject to being purchased. That's very important because if you allow that to happen, you devalue the importance and the significance of votes. When people fought and risked their lives and lost their lives to protect our right to vote, to protect women's right to vote, to protect Black people's right to vote, these people didn't die for nothing. They died because they wanted every person to have an equal vote. And if you have an equal vote that is then watered down because large money is being given to certain politicians so that they can vote in a certain group's interests, that takes away from that politician's commitment to their community. That's something that I definitely intend to work on and that I have tried to do by a lot of our donations are $10 donations and $25 donations. We've been able to get some larger donors, but we have not accepted any corporate donors. So these have just been individuals who are very much committed to electing women and electing people of color into office that have given from their own personal funds. But we have been very clear that we are not accepting any corporate PAC money.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I used to say that I don't accept any PAC money, but the Matriots is a PAC. And so, so we
Yeah.
definitely accept social justice and women's rights issue
Yeah.
organized PACs, but not corporate PACs.
I appreciate that. And there is a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we have time for maybe one more question, I don't know if you've get this very often, but being Matriots and we're all about women leading and women running for office, do you get questions about your campaign or your desire to run for office or be in office that your male counterparts don't? That you know?
Trying to think. Well, considering I don't have kids, that probably makes it a little harder for them to stereotype me into that box.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say questions, but I would say I've gotten a lot of comments on suggestions on what I should and should not wear.
Really?
Which men don't get. Yeah.
You
Yeah. And how much I should smile, how my smile should be. Yeah.
Do you get those questions from men or from women?
Well, they're not questions. They're more like instructions.
Oh, yeah, not questions, but yeah.
Men.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really irritating.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And what can you maybe and just talk a little bit more about the Matriots and being a woman running for office? Is there anything else that you would like to add about that? A woman of color or about your relationship with the Matriots, how we are helping you fulfill your vision of what your leadership would look like in Ohio.
For sure. I mean, it's not easy to run for office for anyone, right? That difficulty is in part because running for office puts your life on public display, but also it's not easy for women because women are underrepresented in office and oftentimes don't have the pre-existing networks and connections for office. That is further complicated when a woman is a woman of color. For me, as a Muslim woman, that is, again, also more difficult. As you may have heard, I am the first Muslim to run for the Ohio Senate, and no Muslim has ever been elected to the Ohio legislature. So these pre-existing networks that are available oftentimes to men are not available to all other people. And so when I decided to run for office, that was definitely one of my concerns, but I have a lot of community connections and community groups and wonderful friends, and I've built a great team to whom I am extremely grateful every day. And then I came across the Matriots, and it was actually Paula Ross, who is one of my dear friends, who really encouraged me from the very beginning to reach out to the Matriots. And I really cannot express enough gratitude to the Matriots and to the support that I've received from the Matriots. There have been several events that I've been able to be a part of and several supportive Matriots members who have been present along the way, sharing their advice and sharing their knowledge and sharing their support, because really support is one of the most important elements for someone running for office. It's easy sometimes to feel alone or feel like you are on display all by yourself without anyone else. But then seeing all the women who are part of the Matriots and all the supports that they've brought on and events such as this is really encouraging and helps you not feel alone. So thank you. And last but not least is the financial support. Unfortunately, we have not yet succeeded in getting all money out of politics, and any money that we can bring is like a droplet compared to the money that corporate PACs are bringing in to advance their causes that then commodify healthcare and commodify housing and commodify people's needs. So getting that financial support and emotional support and media support from the Matriots has been really instrumental to this race. I love how you matched your top with your curtain. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Thank you. I chose the orange for the Matriots, and then I picked a colorful background. Thank you.
I'm orangish. I'm like on the spectrum of orange.
Yes, you're a part of the palette. So thank you. And I love how you just followed up with the Matriots and the financial, the sad truth that having a war chest is really important. And so I'll do my pitch for the Matriots, and then we can close out this interview with your pitch being the last one before we say goodbye. How about that? So I really appreciate your time, and I believe you're still having your Facebook Live every Tuesdays and Thursdays, correct?
I am. 7:30.
Awesome. So we can tune into that. But the essential belief of the Matriots is that when women lead, Ohio prospers. And so if you haven't joined the Matriots PAC, or if you'd like to increase your support, we would really appreciate that. And all of our female candidates this year and next year and the year following would really appreciate that as well. So you can go to matriotsohio.com and pledge your support today and tonight. And then Reem, if you'd like to wrap it up, that would be great.
Thanks. Yeah. So please support the Matriots. If you support the Matriots can support women like me and so many others. And check out our Facebook page. It's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's Reem for Ohio. See, this is Reem. It's right behind me. It's REEM. It's pretty easy. So if you just type that, it'll take you to our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Our webpage is Reem Subei, SUBEI. I would ask that you follow us and share with your friends and make a donation, even if it's $5. That helps us reach community members and neighbors. Thank you so much, and stay safe and stay home.